Hello YouTube, it's Tim again, and today I'd like to talk to you about a few little things I have that can really help you get through some tough times, and it has for me. Went through Hurricane Ike back in 2008, and there's 79 condominium units in this building, this facility, and only 9 people stayed. And we had some high winds, we got a lot of high water, a lot of trees down, fences down, and we lost our power for 6.5 days. And luckily I had good ice chest and ice, so I was able to keep the food and everything good. And I used my camping gear and backpacking gear, my stoves and candle lanterns and things like that, to get through the tough time of no power. And luckily we had a little front come through, so it wasn't too hot. Because generally in September 12th through 15th, 18th, it's pretty toasty down here. But anyway, what I had was a radio that I still have, and it's a KDO Voyager, and it gives me weather radio,
67 degrees, and the normal low is 50.
and it gives me music. It also has 2 shortwave bands, which those of you not familiar with shortwave, it generally is not very active during normal periods like this. Like if I scan the shortwave right now, you're probably not going to hear much of anything. But during a crisis time, shortwave gets very active, and you can really find out what's going on in the area. All I had to know what was going on was my radio, and that kind of drove me crazy because 2 miles from here we had bad damage. We lost a few shingles here and a fireplace chimney, but other than trees and fences, we did pretty well. But like I said, 2 miles from here, they weren't so lucky. I mean, they had houses destroyed, roofs ripped off, severe flooding, and I go back and look at the pictures from just 2.5 miles from my own home where I was, and everything just all over the place is just devastated. So after the hurricane, I decided, you know what? The one thing I really missed the most was being able to see what was going on. But with no power, that's kind of hard to do. So what I did is built myself a home power system, and I'd like to show that to you today. All my products except my radio are manufactured and sold by Gold Zero, which is a very good company I've been dealing with for almost 10 years now. And what I've got is a 400 watt battery and solar panels. And you can see the solar panel behind me here. This is a briefcase solar panel. This is 30 watts. I have 3 of these, and I have what they call a combiner cable that chains them all together. So I can connect up to 4 solar panels here, and then with an 8mm input I can connect to my solar battery and charge it. So that comes in really handy. It takes, with a good sunny day, about 7 hours total to top my battery off. I generally only run it down to about 50% because you don't really want to run it much lower than that. So once I get it charged back up, I'm good to go. I can run a good 20 days with my small TV and charging my cell phone and a light. I use what's called a Light of Life, which are these small lamps, and you plug these guys in to the battery, and I've got 2 slots for them. Plus they're also chainable, so you can chain these guys together, and they work really well. So I can put 2 of these, one in the living room, one in the hallway, and I'm good on lights. This takes 3 watts of power, and this is a 400 watt battery. So that gives me 33 amp hours and 396 watt hours of power, which is actually quite a bit. Now I'm also running, because the one thing I missed, like I said, was living off of radio. I would hear them describing the damage in my area, but I couldn't see it. So what I did was I converted over to a small 8-inch television, so I can actually see what's going on around me and see what's going on in my neighborhood. And there we go. So now we have 8-inch LCD TV. So that comes in really handy to see what's going on in the area when all you have is radio and have to use your imagination to figure out how bad the damage is because you can't see it. So anyway, I can also run the TV in my car. I've got a 400 watt inverter in my Jeep, and I've got a 2000 watt inverter coming here in about a week, and that will be permanently mounted down on the floorboard in my Jeep, and I can also use that to charge my battery. So if I don't have solar and I don't have home power to use my home charger for my battery, I can always take it out to the Jeep and connect it up and run it there and charge it there. And like I said, my Jeep will also run power tools and things like that, so it comes in really handy to have an inverter in your vehicle. Another thing is I have radios, so I also use the Goal Zero 400 Yeti to charge my 4 walkie-talkies, so I have good communication with any neighbors or anyone else that I need to be in touch with. Another thing I have is, so say I want to charge a battery bank or a battery or even my own car. Well, for a mild expense, you can get a charge controller. This charge controller has battery connections on it, so it hooks right to the battery of your vehicle, and then I can plug my solar panels in right here, and now I can use my solar panels to also charge my car battery if I have to. But generally, if I'm charging my home battery, I'll have the car running. So I can sit out there and watch TV and or do a little bit of work in the meantime while my battery's charging. But anyway, it's just a few little comfort items that I have to get by tough times with no power. And you can also get up to 1250 watt batteries from Goal Zero. And now the 400s and the 1250s come in lithium as well. This is lead acid battery. And like I said, it takes about a good 7 hours to charge off to the top if you run it really low. But just to top it off, if you run it down to 50%, generally about 5 hours. And it doesn't always have to be direct sunlight. Sometimes it can be just a semi-cloudy day, but you can still get enough power to get your battery charged. So anyway, that's just a few ways that I get by at times with no electricity, which generally is not a lot of fun, but with the radio, communications, television, and my solar panels, they won't let me mount real solar panels on top of my roof. The homeowners association won't allow that, so that's why I have the briefcase panels that I can set up on my patio or out front and get hours of sunlight that I need to recharge my battery if I have to. So anyway, that's how I get it done, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. Please like the video, subscribe if you like. There'll be plenty more coming on bushcrafting and a lot of the different setups of gear that I have. And I look forward to seeing you again, and everybody be safe out there. Take care.